Autofill in search and long tail keyword search volume. How are they connected, and when do you need to go and deep dive this? So one thing I found when I was auditing an account very recently, and I thought it would actually be helpful for some other people out there to be aware that this is even a thing. But what I discovered once is that if you have a keyword that you are advertising on, that you're getting good search volume on, but it is a long tail keyword. There are some of those long tail keywords out there that the search volume is just a lot more than you would expect it to be on a keyword that is, say, 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 6 words deep. What often is driving that high search volume on that long tail keyword is the autofill suggestions inside of Amazon search. So if you've ever been researching a keyword, researching a product, or if you've just been shopping yourself, what you will find is when you go and you start typing something into Amazon, you'll get these auto suggestions. So metal detector for kids ages 8 to 12. I don't know if a shopper would think of doing a date range. They might just say metal detector for kids age 10. Maybe they have a 10-year-old. But because this is here, they say, oh, my kid's 8 to 12, so I'm going to click on that. So this particular keyword right here is getting a lot of search volume, where if there wasn't the autofill suggestion in the search bar, I don't think the search volume on this particular long tail keyword would be that high. But one thing that can happen is you might have a keyword like this that is very specific to your product. If you have a kid's metal detector, this is going to be a highly relevant keyword. However, what happens when this particular autofill falls out of this auto suggestion? You're going to see a significant decrease in the search volume just naturally. Again, this is not something that shoppers naturally type out, but it is something that they will absolutely click on because it is relevant to what they are searching. So one thing I discovered when I was auditing this account, I went and looked at the past performers because we need to revamp just the sales and everything. We kind of it needs to be reinvigorated. So one good thing is to go and say, if there's a lot of history in the account, what is my past performers? And so when going and searching that, I noticed that the keyword that had been the highest past performer just wasn't doing anything at this moment. And when I went and searched, where is it currently being advertised? Like, what do the bids look like? Is it still being advertised on? There were places in the account. Now, some things have been paused, but there were places where the bids were still significant enough that they should have been getting search volume, and yet the search volume was nothing. There was no impressions whatsoever, despite high bids, despite decent budgets, all of that stuff, because the keyword was kind of like this. It was quite specific to the product. There was quite a few words that needed to be manually typed out when there's kind of easier ways to search for this product. I kind of thought most likely this is probably an issue of this happening, where it's just not showing up in the suggested autofill anymore. So when I went and researched, sure enough, it's not there. There's no way to historically look back on this, but I can kind of infer it just due to the previous search volume on this individual keyword. And then what I did is, so now that we know that this is not really showing it up, I typed in into helium-10. There was nothing in the search volume. It was absolutely blank. I got a dash. There wasn't even like a 5 or a 10. Like, we had nothing. So that shows me that significantly fell out of favor with the autofill. And so then what I did is, we want to now figure out what is being advertised in the autofill, like what's showing up for shoppers when they are searching this product. Now, if you're using broad match, if you're doing keyword research, if you are constantly reevaluating your marketplace, you should be able to identify this. So ideally, you've already kind of gleaned what's there just naturally through the search volume in your space and looking at your competitors. However, if you significantly notice something drop off, I would go through and I would just start typing in some of your main root words, see what pops up. You can kind of go and do an additional step of looking at the search volume in those keywords, look at the history of the search volume on those keywords, and that will kind of give you an idea of what the autofills, like what the search has migrated to now that the other one kind of dropped out of favor. So if you're kind of wondering, well, what happened to my search volume on my great long tail keyword, potentially this is what's happening in the account. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave them in the comments.